What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten football channel. 2019 was a rough year for Northwestern. They were coming off of a Big Ten championship game berth, and then they go out and it was a disaster last season. It wasn't really because of the schedule. I mean, they played Stanford in the non-conference, but Stanford wasn't very good last year. I think a lot of it had to do with the quarterback play. They really struggled there, and it was just a down year. Now, I think Northwestern, the pieces are there. They've got a great coach. The program, I don't think, is in the dumpster or anything like that. It was just a bad year, and sometimes teams have bad years. But let's see if the schedule sets up in a way to where they can maybe turn things around and have a better year in 2020. And here is that schedule, and there's that record from last year again, 3-9, rough season. But the schedule does set up pretty well for them. I'm telling you, if you take a look at it here, they play Michigan State week 1 on the road, September 5th. That normally would be a really tough game, but Michigan State, I think, is going to be down a little bit this year, so that is a winnable game for Northwestern. They play Tulane on September the 12th. That should be a game that Northwestern can win. They'll be favorites in that game for sure. Central Michigan on September 19th. So your first 3 games of the year are all winnable. They don't have any really, really tough games out of the gate, so that's good news for Northwestern. If they could get off to a 3-0 start, build some confidence, then maybe they could have a better year this upcoming season. After that, though, it does start to get a little bit tougher. You get back into Big Ten play on September 26th. They'll play on the road at Penn State. That, again, will be a very tough matchup. Nebraska on October 3rd. Who knows how good they're going to be, but it's a home game, so it's winnable, I think. The game last year was, I think, a 3-point game. They have a bye week after Nebraska, and then they'll play Maryland, another winnable game, one of the bottom teams out of the East. Iowa on October 24th on the road. That'll be a tough matchup there. And then Purdue on the road on Halloween, October 31st. So back-to-back road games there. The only back-to-back road games on the schedule here for Northwestern. Wisconsin on November 7th obviously will be a tough matchup. But then they played Morgan State. Really weird for a Big Ten team to play an FCS team or any non-conference game in November. And Northwestern fans could probably fill me in. Maybe they had another game scheduled there and the team backed out. I really don't know. I really don't know why they're playing Morgan State on November 14th. You do not see that very often on a Big Ten schedule. That may help them, though. Give them a little bit of a break before playing Minnesota on the road on November 21st and then playing Illinois on November 28th, the last game of the season. But a lot of winnable games here. You look at their crossover games against the East. They're going to play, yes, Penn State. That'll be a tough one. But then they'll play, who was the other team? Maryland. Maryland's the other team out of the East. So that's really not horrible. We'll see what they can do with it. Again, Penn State and Maryland, and Michigan State, the other team. Michigan State and Maryland, maybe two of the bottom teams in the East, along with Rutgers. So that sets up really well. This is a year where you don't mind going on the road to play Michigan State, because I do think they're going to be down, and maybe they're not. We'll see. But yeah, the schedule sets up really well for them. No tough non-conference games. If you win those 3 non-conference games that they have, which again should be games where Northwestern is favored, and you take care of business against a team like Maryland, can go on the road and beat Michigan State. You're only 1 win away from a bowl game at that point. So yes, I do think the schedule sets up in a way to where Northwestern can really turn it around this year. Now, are they going to go 10-2 or win the Big Ten West? Probably not. There's some good teams in that division, but I think they can at least turn things around to potentially get to a bowl game. Maybe a little bit better than that. We'll see. I do think a lot of it does depend on that quarterback position for them. They got to get more consistent play there, and if they do, with a schedule that's not very tough, again, I think Northwestern could really turn things around in 2020.